Welcome to Data Forward, the podcast that keeps you ahead in the fast-evolving world of enterprise AI and data management. We bring you expert insights, actionable strategies, and the latest trends to help you stay on top. Ready to shape the future of data? Let's Data Forward.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Data Forward. I'm your host, Raman Chen, the Chief Product Officer here at Excel Data. I'm delighted to have with me today Tarik El Mansouri, who's a visionary CDO. Tarik and I have known each other for many, many years. Welcome, Tarik.
Thank you, Raman. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm excited to discuss all manner of topics today: master data management, data observability, data quality. But first, why don't you tell us a little bit about your extensive experience and background?
So, Tarik El Mansouri, I'm a digital and data transformation leader. I have 25 years of experience. Over my last 15 years, I've been leading digital and data transformations across supply chain, customer experience. And I've been consistently delivering improvements either to revenue or to efficiencies across strategic initiative, leveraging technology and data.
Excellent. And you and I first met when you were running the Master Data Management Initiative at Schneider Electric. And it was then that I first heard you coin the term proactive data quality. And since then, Gartner's talked a lot about proactive data quality in the context of data observability. But describe how you were thinking back then and how you are focused also today on proactive data quality.
Yeah. Data is somehow the lifeblood of any company. And pretty much as a body, if you want to be healthy, you need to have a good blood. Data quality is similar. And good quality is actually the cornerstone there for companies to perform, to improve their operations or their profitability. And it's also the responsibility of anyone across the organization. So the comparison with supply chain, where I spent many years in transformation initiative, is also very relevant. Quality is also the responsibility of anyone and not just an afterthought process. So, proactive data quality indeed is something that makes a difference. So instead of having the final customer for a supply chain, for example, or the consumer of the data insights, realizing that it's not trustworthy, the data is not trustworthy, being able to proactively manage this data end-to-end across the data supply chain is critical to success.
That's fantastic. And there's been a lot of talk about not just data quality and proactive data quality, meaning sort of shifting left, right, and addressing data quality issues before they sort of get too close to the business user or too far down the data supply chain. But there's also talk about data readiness, right? So I know you're a big proponent, being sort of focused on also master data management, on getting the data ready, right? Single view of customer, single view of product, and then having that data be supplied to the downstream systems, whether that be AI. How do you think about how MDM fits into this equation of proactive data quality and data readiness?
Master data might be the most important data elements in the organization. Obviously, customer, product, suppliers, things also are very important in the company value chain. So being able to have that data ready, trusted, shared across the organization is part of the foundation of successful data transformation. So that's indeed given the criticality of this information in the different businesses, business models and processes, that's getting that ready and proactively managed through proper data management practices, including data observability, is indeed important.
It's really important then with these data products, as you say, and the right level of governance to have metrics, right? To be able to measure and to have SLAs, let's say, in terms of the level of quality, the timeliness of the delivery. How have you thought about sort of what those metrics mean, and how, in your role as a chief data officer, how would you communicate that information to all the stakeholders?
Metrics are a component there in how you communicate your data strategy, which should be aligned with the business strategy itself, with the goals there to improve the company performance, and relating data metrics to those to the business metrics is very important. So. Well, if you think about Schneider Electric, that's moved from being an industrial manufacturing organization to a more digital company delivering electrification and digitization to improve sustainability and energy efficiency with the introduction of new business models. Being able to relate the data metrics to how it contributes to the business strategy, whether it's improving the sale of services, improving cross-sale of connected offers as well, and how that relates to the state of the quality of the data is important when you elaborate your vision and strategy first. Those metrics there most of the time relates to how fast you make the data available and how good the quality of the data is.
So, Tarik, let's talk a little bit about, you've always worked for global multinational companies, and this concept of sort of trust in data is critical, obviously, within the local organizations, but it's really the synergies across supply chains, across domains of products, right? We talked about metrics and sort of having a sort of single view of how people measure contracts and data products. But process wise and sort of governance wise, the people accepting that information and trusting that information is critical. How have you sort of helped spread the word, enforce policies and processes? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, indeed. Trust is above just data quality itself. You can have good quality, but people may not use it if they feel it's not trustable. So governance frameworks helps in building of fully trustworthy frameworks so that trust is part of the key value drivers of the governance. But it's also about communicating, embarking the organization into that change and adoption of that new process and leveraging the information for their day-to-day operation, for their decision making, for their planning activities. Yes, and trust is something that you build upon successful results as well. So my approach has been to start always small with a significant first perimeter, and then iterate, extend. And as people see the success in other areas, they are interested and keen to buy in the transformation.
And I really saw that sort of in spades when you were at Schneider, right? Your leadership and your amazing drive to get everybody on the same page with, at that time, master data management. But one of the things when I was working with you closely, which always I wished we had, was more visibility, right, into the exact quality of the data, as well as the downstream lineage and the visibility into the value of the data, right? One of the great mysteries has always been, once you spend all this effort mastering, creating the data products, how is it really ultimately benefiting, right, your consumer, your business constituents. So your leadership in that regard back in the day, just using master data management, was phenomenal. So I really appreciate it. And I learned a lot from you, how, to make sure that people understand the value and the cost of good quality data. Tell me a little bit about now in this age of AI, how you're thinking about, how this can all be even better.
Yeah, AI has been a major innovation there over the last years there, especially in the space of data management and data observability in particular when it comes to Excel data with the agentic AI uh, data management. Data management used to be something very time consuming, uh, not very attractive as well there because repetitive
Yeah.
in terms of doing the stewardship of the data, fixing data quality issue. And technology over the last years there helps a lot in automating and bringing much more assisted processes there by AI and Gen AI. So it's becoming more and more easy for something that used to be very complicated at the beginning. Um, the last, but I would extend that also AI and the latest technology are really covering more and more the end-to-end approach. So a few years back, being able to track also more precisely metadata management and how the data is being used there at the end, but also potential drift in the content of the data have been also complicated things. So now, thanks to technology, AI, and this is becoming more accessible.
Yeah, I think that it's amazing how the world has evolved. But with the new technologies and the new capabilities, there's also now sort of a concern about responsible AI and using AI in ethical ways, because there's hallucinations and there's information that can be sort of deemed inaccurate. And so there's a lot of processes and controls in place. As a chief data officer, and I'm no doubt a future chief data AI officer, a CDAIO, how are you thinking about sort of enhancing your knowledge and skill set in AI as you sort of embark on your new adventures and journey?
It's indeed a journey, a learning journey. Every couple of days, there's new technology introduced, new innovation. Technology is one. It's also people also that are important in transforming that technology enablers into a result. So continuous learning, acculturation is important. You mentioned a very important point there, which drive trust also in the data and AI is indeed using it with responsibility and ethics. This is fundamental to build that ethics and responsibility charter as part of the AI and data governance. So that indeed this is not this is a continuous exercise. You need to have regular controls over your data, over your models, to ensure there is no bias introduced and mistrust created or bad decision or bad behavior created of this assets.
Yeah, it's super interesting that with great power comes great responsibility, but the notion of compliance has always been there, particularly in the industries that you've been participating in, manufacturing, right, and producing goods. There's a lot of environmental concerns these days about where the information and the goods and the parts are sourced from. Is it environmentally conscious? Right. And ESG is a term that many companies have to comply with and produce reports for compliance. And one of the use cases, many use cases, but one of the use cases is getting the accuracy of those reports, because there could be potential fines if you're not getting your report in time or if it's not accurate. How have you thought about sort of this concept of ESG throughout your career?
You're right. So ESG sustainability, it's been true there for Saint-Gobain and Schneider Electric, which sustainability has been at the core of the business. And it's becoming even more important indeed across many organizations and all around the globe. Data and ESG is indeed a big topic because measuring the impact product services has on the planet requires monitoring across all the supply chain from procurement to manufacturing, transportation, but also beyond that, how the products are being used by the final consumer and eventually offsetting the impact they have generated to produce them. This indeed is very data intensive. Somehow data observability as well there is a bit similar to that end-to-end their supply chain tracking. I think more and more in terms of value and business strategy, data leaders should include indeed measurement of the impact that the company generates out of their product when they build new products, and taking that sustainability goals as well when they use their data. So making sure it fit for purpose. Anyone playing a role across the data supply chain is well informed about the impacts they can generate in terms of over-engineering that may eventually over-consume resources and similarly impact scarce resources that we have. So we know that AI is very energy intensive as well.
That's right. I mean, you make really good points, and sort of circling back to the notion of AI. So we mentioned a little bit sort of Excel Data's agentic data management capabilities and the notion of sort of being able to use natural language to get jobs done inside of the data management functions, the business users all on the same page, seeing sort of a single view of the data and the state and quality of the data so that everybody can collaborate and share information. How do you think about sort of that new wave? There's always been this sort of, IT business kind of challenge, right, in terms of sort of overlapping the features with the capabilities. But it seems like the barriers are going to be broken and made simpler through this concept of agentic data management. How do you think about that, and what would you do to kind of sort of accelerate the adoption of AI technologies?
I was mentioning earlier that in early days, this has been a topic very complicated that was indeed requiring specialized skills there to handle. But at the same time, they are being able to deliver value at scale. Leveraging data and AI requires that we have a federated approach with owners across the businesses that take ownership of their data in their respective domain, that controls their quality and be able to interact with it in an easy way. And indeed, NLP is part of the levers to be able to interact in a more friendly manner than being a tech or a specialist of the data itself. And it's incredible today with Gen AI and ChatGPT, how easy it is to interact with information and to be able to, thanks to now agentic AI, to take actions in a very facilitated manner.
And you also, in previous conversations that we've had, talked about the focus of communicating, collaborating, and then iterating that process. So let's kind of close by sort of describing sort of any tips and techniques that you have evolved over your career as a chief data officer that you could impart to our listeners. How would you sort of describe, what are the skills to become a truly great chief data officer?
Well, with a lot of humility there in terms of sharing But I think listening is very important, and speaking the same language than the business is my number one tip. And building relationships so that collaboration could be established with the stakeholders. I referred earlier to data being the lifeblood of the company. Data transformation journey, if I compare it now into a sport, it's much more like a marathon than a speed race. So you need to build that environment with stakeholders to collaborate, communicate, and iterate. But always focusing on the business impact and how it will help your functions, your operations in the organization to do more, to achieve their goals, the stakeholder goals.
And then finally, I think, one of the things that has been amazing about sort of partnering with you at Reltio and discussing this with you is your understanding that the vendors and the tool suppliers of the technology really have to be partners with you in your journey. Can you describe how you think about when you onboard a new technology, and what you expect from your vendor and your partner in order for mutual success?
Yeah. Technology, the right choice of the technology is indeed an enabler for the transformation. Understanding that it's first people and process, because it's the people and the process that make the success and not the technology itself. Choosing a technology for me is not just about features or functions of that technology. It's also ensuring that there is a shared vision with the technology leadership team and strong engagement. So this has been the case there with Reltio in the past. I like also the vision at Excel Data that you're driving, and being committed together in achieving common goals is key to the success.
Fantastic, Tarik. This has been an amazing conversation. I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom and your insights, and it's been a tremendous partnership. I really value your partnership and your friendship. Obviously, you're based in Paris, beautiful Paris. I hope to see you there very, very soon, or you in the US. It's been terrific. I hope you'll come on again in the future.
Sure.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tarik. And till next time.
Thank you. Thank you, Raman. Talk soon.
Thanks for listening to the Data Forward podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest insider news, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.